No, hopefully got some burn ointment for it anyway. So, how is everybody doing? Welcome back, and it must be Monday night again. It really, really must be Monday night again. Do you know how I can tell? Because Wayne's there with his soul patch. Looks like somebody's got a finger with some paint gone on it. Mixed, like me. I get the white. I've got the white. Somebody's just dipped my chin.
Yeah, I got it coming through on here as well.
Did you dye that blonde?
This bit has been, yes, it's been dyed blonde. Some of it was white, so the bit under my lip is white, and the bit at the bottom of my chin's white, and the bit in the middle is black.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
I dyed it so it went with the hair.
So you're like me with stuff like that. It's just all weird, different colours, and yeah, it's.
So I'm thinking of having an upside down T. I'm thinking of keeping this bit as well.
I really thought you were going to say you're going to have an upside down nutsack then, but I thought no, I'm not going to. I'm just really, really, really not going to say anything because it's just like no.
Hi, Noreen.
Sorry, just still sharing this out. Hang on. Oh, there you go. Right. Okay. Who's that? Hey, Noreen, you're right. Right. In a minute, I would like us to discuss just what the friggity frig is going on in political worlds and stuff at the moment. But we won't talk about that just yet. We'll just say, how's everybody been? What have you been up to? Have you seen anything? Ooh. I'm trying all different things and no. Oh, fuck. Oh, flip. Hang on. Where's he gone?
Stop, I'm getting dizzy.
There you go. Oh, sorry. I swear blind things were moving around then. I think Rachel must have put something in me tea. I don't know. So, anyway, how is everybody? How's Mrs. Wayne? How are the little Waynes?
Little Waynes and Waynettes. Half of them are okay. The other half, not so okay.
The big half are okay. The little half.
Yes, unfortunately, the little half are very testing at the moment.
And one of the big halves.
No.
Yeah.
What, Ellen?
But anyway, the majority is the little halves, being little terrors as always.
Yeah, I think my eldest Becky, she's going through that with her son at the moment. He's being a bit of a terror. So I think it's the weather. I put it down to the weather, apathy, tiredness, and God knows what else.
We're just pushing buttons.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that tonight. We are really going to be talking about that tonight. Now, Josh is stuck at work. I've already spoken today. He is stuck at work, and he's like really sorry he hasn't been on. So I've said we're going to have to do like a couple of pre-records or something each month, just so we can get him on there because he's still very much an active member of the team. He just works all the time, and he fiddles with his spanners all the time. Not sure what he's doing fiddling with his spanners all the time, but hey, is that a new cup by any chance? I just saw a skull.
Yeah, it's an old one now.
Oh.
Had it for quite some time.
Do you like my... Hang on. I've just got to put your ear in a minute. See if you can see it.
Yeah, I can't see what it is, though. I know it's blue. No, it's an R2-D2.
It is R2-D2. It goes all different colours and flashes and stuff. I was getting it for my birthday.
Cool.
Right, hang on. Let's put you back on that. There you go. Right. And for those of you who have been asking, Ghost is absolutely fine. She's doing really, really well. The final bit of her putting weight on due to that illness she had was the lower part of her spine and her hips, and it's covering nicely now. So she's really, really getting there. I have the young Bob beside me, like literally. Bob. Hello, Bob. And the Lilo in the windowsill up there. Well, mate, and we have the very gorgeous Rachel downstairs, just eating dinner, who's, I think, by the sounds of things, going to the dogs. So, yeah. Right, let's get started. This crap that's going around at the moment, right, we've been saying 2025 to 2027 is when something's coming. because when you go online and go deep underground and deep under rabbit holes online, you find out that there is something coming, but it's supposed to be coming from out there, not from the good old US of A or Iran or China or Russia or North Korea or the Middle East. Now, however, you've got top bods again in North America saying that we need to prepare for blackouts and all sorts of things that are coming. Don't need to be alarmed. Don't be alarmed, but something is coming. Be prepared. Get yourself like a wind-up radio, wind up torch. That's just shit you do when the grid goes down. And funnily enough, I have been having going on and having lots of different chats with an AI about all the things that's going down, and everything, and I do mean everything, and everything that I've looked at where I shouldn't be going to look at online is saying that the North American Bomberman is trying to start a war to cover up what's actually coming, which is people from out there, which is what we've said is going to be coming. Are they trying to start a false flag operation to cover up the Anunnaki coming back, or the Nordics, or the Greys, or the Reptilians? What do you think? Because it's mighty strange how this has just gone.
No.
What do you think?
I think we've all got very short memories. Every year, when the weather starts getting hot and we have droughts, we also have blackouts.
Because of water-powered...
simply because in Corfu, when it's hot over there, they have maybe 24 power cuts every day. And it's caused by the heat. All of the substations and that, they're not being cooled down, and so they overheat. They have to be switched off, or they switch themselves off so that they can cool down and restart themselves. And the town where we go regularly in the summer gets blackouts because the power grid can't handle it. And we're getting the same here. I mean, we've had a few power cuts in where I live the last couple of days. And it's just a natural process where it gets too hot. But I say that they are saying to get the torches and wind up radios and things like that, because obviously if there is blackouts, you're going to be in the dark apart from a candle.
Which I get, and it's said up to 3 days. However, why would you need emergency radio and everything?
I don't think necessarily it's an emergency radio. I mean, obviously, most people use the TV, don't they? And if there's no electricity, what else are you going to do? So if you've got a battery-powered radio or a wind-up radio, you've got some form of entertainment to keep your mind going while you're in pitch black, and not being able to do anything. Or it could possibly be, like another war of words, another Cold War. And you saw the panic that the Cold War made when it all first kicked off. There was videos going out or movie reels going out of what to do in the event of the siren going off. Get under the tables, get in doorways, get into storm shelters, tornado shelters, whatever. It caused pandemonium. And that could be what they're doing again this time round. They're trying to scare people into their way of thinking.
I do think there is some scaremongering going on.
I think there's a lot of it going on.
About a war. There's a lot of underground chatter about a war going to start, and it's North America that's trying to start it. Not the North American people, just one person and his little sycophants. And the thing was, I used to quite like Trump. I thought he was all right, and now he's just being a complete knobend.
No, I mean, the problem is the history behind that. They've been told that, that country had been told for a long time it had to disarm itself. Everybody had been telling them to disarm themselves. It was against whatever treaty it was, and they just ignored them. So it was only a matter of time before somebody did something about it.
However, they also said that about Iraq, and that was bullshit. There was no weapons of mass destruction. We all know why Iraq was. Yeah,
the problem is, though, with Iran, they've got proof of that. Yeah. We know they have got uranium enrichment facilities there. But either way, all it does is it just causes more problems.
Yeah.
You know, it's all right turning around and saying, well, this bomber's going to fly for 37 hours, drop its payload, and then 37 hours back. Okay, it's all over social media.
After a really bad curry, I'm going to sit there for 37 minutes, drop my payload, and then come back. Sorry.
You know, but it is worrying because it's, you know, the problem we've got is the fact that they are saying that just about every Middle Eastern terrorist organisation is all based or being funded by the Ayatollahs in Iran.
See, the thing about Iran is, I know they've had this nuclear stuff. I know that. I know that with the army and everything, and they've had that for a long time, and they've been warned for a long time. Same as North Korea. North Korea is up to it. He's still up to it. He's still trying to get his nuclear things on the table, and he's still doing under the ground tests and research. And same as that 4.2 magnitude tremor that went off in Iran today in the middle of nowhere where there's no fault lines. Wonder what that was. Testing. So if those nuclear places have been wiped out, how did they manage to do that? But that's beside the point. Everything that I see, my thing is, mainstream is saying yes, it's got to be done because of this and this. However, everything that I've been reading is saying, yeah, they are doing this because of this and this. But funnily enough, it coincides with them coming, and they're going to introduce themselves, and this is going to cover up a lot of the stuff that's going on to get them here to introduce themselves. So is this false flag? Is it Project Bluebeam? What?
I mean, you know, it's very similar to what we said last week, wasn't it? You know, we're all talking about Iran and Israel and Palestine and everything else, and we seem to have forgotten about Russia and Ukraine. And we know that Trump signed a mineral deal with Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, you know, all of a sudden that's just disappeared, and now this one's taken over.
Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, this show's known for UFOs and cryptozoology and conspiracy theories and stuff. But we're actually, everything that's been said over the last few weeks, and that list that I compiled and put up on the Dark Mirrors wall today, if you look at the timeline of events that's happened on that list and put 2 and 2 together and make 7, it's up to you. But if you do your own research as well, yeah, there is something coming. There's possibly a war coming, I don't know. But whatever is coming, there's a smoke screen coming up as well. So what is the main event that is going to come? That's what we're talking about.
I don't think Starmer is being kept out of the loop. There's no one trusts him anyway.
Keir Starmer's an absolute cockhen. Like, you know, bend over, Starmer, and take it up the bottom from North America. Okay, how wide? Isn't he?
No, yeah. Trump signed that deal, didn't he? And he dropped the papers on the floor, and Starmer was literally split second straight down to pick all the paperwork up like a little butler.
We'll pick them up for you.
Like, I love the Americans. I love America as a country. There's so many places in there I want to visit. But the governments over there and the governments over there and the governments over here are terrible. Hey, Jacqueline. They're always warmongering, the ones over there. And the ones over here, literally for as long as I can remember, since I was about 7 years old, they fucked our country right up the ass and screwed it. Completely screwed it. And now our country as a whole has got to the point where we want our country back, and we don't care what you say. Fuck it, we want our country back because it's got that bad over here. When you watch TV, any other country watches TV about the UK, you know, it's all Bridgerton and this and that and that. No, some places are nice. The rest of the places are shitholes. And there's places in Yorkshire you don't go to. There's places in Yorkshire where the police don't go to. It's that bad. However, if you come in illegally, we'll put you up in a hotel and everything. You know, and then they do things like strip the budget back on the military over here, and then go, oh fuck, we shouldn't have done that. Let's recruit in again. And in about 2 years' time, they'll start kicking people out again. They do it all the bloody time. And again, this time, we've had Keir Starmer kissing Trump's ass because he wants all these deals and this, that, and the other. Trump knows this. He's got all these people eating out the palm of his hand. You know, I like the fact that he says he's going to do something and he does it, and that's what we need. But what we don't need is warmongers, because nobody wants a fucking war. None of us. None of us. It doesn't matter how many.
There's ways of getting what you want, and it's not by force.
Yeah, but there's also using really shit propaganda and getting people riled up to go, fuck yeah, we're going to do this. And then afterwards, about 10 years afterwards, they sit back and go, I'm so ashamed, we should never have done that, you know?
Yeah.
So I still want to know what the deal is with what actually is coming. I mean, I get the blackouts because like we've got low water over here and we're going to have water shortages and everything, and I get you've got hydroelectric and everything like that. Over here, not so much. I mean, over here we've got a lot of nuclear produced electricity, and I know in one of the main places that produces it, because I used to be security at this place, it's all eco-sustainable stuff. However, I know there's 3 places in the UK that if they were taken out, the whole of the UK as a whole would be fucked. I know that the pipeline that comes from Denmark to across the sea to the UK is being monitored and watched 24/7 now because that Russian spy trawler was hanging above it. And the day that they fucked that trawler off, we had outages both on each side of the pond between Denmark and us. So something is going on, and somebody is trying to do something. So are there sleeper agents in certain countries? Are there sleeper aliens in certain countries? What do you reckon?
I mean, that goes without a doubt. I mean, we're going right the way back to Spy Central, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, James Bond stuff. And it's, you know, you're going to have agents all over the place. America have probably got agents in Iran. It's almost without a doubt.
Every country's got agents in every other country.
And that's how they know what the targets were and where they are. Because they've been there for a while, they know where the ground lies, they know what's what and who to contact. And they knew exactly where to drop bombs.
Mm.
And it's the same with every other country because there's no monitoring of who's who as such. It's very easy for someone to go into that country and just sit back and relax for a little while and then start snooping. So it's all pretty much James Bond sort of stuff. We flipped over. Oh, flip back.
I rested me light on it, and it hit the keyboard, and I was like, oh, it started doing it again. It's moving stuff.
But no, it's weird. I don't think. I think we've got to a stage now where there are so many wars going on all over the place that we're all just being caught in the middle. So I think it's just a precautionary measure.
I think there's a lot of greedy politicians out there who seem to think that by throwing their weight about it, and who shouts loudest wins. And it's not, people have come to the point where, like, can you stop doing that shit, please? None of us like it. But I also do. I really think everything I've been looking at is saying it's a cover up for something else, and I kind of believe it. I mean, I've got solar powered power banks and torches and a radio somewhere, and I've got a bug out kit and things like that. I've had it for years, but it's the fact that they're coming on TV now and they're saying, "Oh, you need to be prepared. You need to do." I've heard all this before, and it's always been, "Oh, we don't know if this is going to. It might not be this. It might not be that. It could just be."
Hi, Irene.
And then it goes bang. Hi, Irene.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's also like one of those things. We knew that this heat wave was coming, and so we know that there's going to be droughts. There's going to be power cuts. And I think what they're just trying to do is just trying to warn people that with these sort of things happening on a regular basis, it's better to be prepared for it. I mean, we don't have to worry. We've got a huge battery under the stairs. So when we've had the power cuts here, everybody's been sort of technically in darkness, or they've had no electricity, and we've been sitting here watching TV, boiling the kettle and laughing about,
So when it all happens, we're fucking heading on down to your house with the animals. I see me being me, because every single time I've said something's going to happen and it fucking does happen, I'm skeptical as hell. Me personally, I don't think it's what they're saying. I really don't.
No, I mean, I won't believe anything the government says.
No.
I've gone beyond that point.
I think pretty much most of the planet now, most of civilization now doesn't trust their own governments. Nobody, in the people in the UK, no one. The Tories used to be the most hated political party in the UK, and now it's Labour, followed by the Tories, and everybody wants to vote UKIP in. And you got to remember the forerunner to UKIP was people who wanted like people of different colour and different religion out of the country. And now it used to be years ago, and now UKIP's in, and people are starting to agree with the stuff they're coming up with. Even me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? For people to turn around and go, right, we need them in instead of these arseholes, shows you how bad this country's got.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like my family and friends over in America and Josh and everybody. I messaged Josh the other day and asked him if they were all right with what was going on over there, and he's like, yeah, it's just scaremongering. You know.
Yeah.
So
I think it's the typical thing that governments do. They scaremonger so that people will follow their way of thinking. And over the years, it's just been a different tactic that they've used to try and get the people to follow their way of thinking. And they're just using different things each time to do it.
Everyone's freaking out about the lack of earthquakes here in Japan, and it's boiling here. Another hurricane's coming on Friday. Well, Irene, stop eating those really dodgy katsu curries for a start, and you'll stop doing the hurricanes. And the earthquakes, quite frankly, after the crappy last few years you guys have had, you don't need the earthquakes at the moment. You really don't. Unless it's Godzilla waking up to go.
I think the problem there is that when there's a lack of earthquakes, people tend to sort of come off their guard a little bit. So when one does happen, it catches them off guard, and all hell breaks loose. I mean, I've been sitting in a bar in Corfu, and Albania has had an earthquake, and we've had the aftershocks. And I've been sitting there in the bar with me drink. I've watched the bottles on the shelf rocking from side to side. Everybody's gone out into the street. The barman's pooping himself in the doorway. And I'm just sitting there carrying on drinking. He's going, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, look, when those bottles fall off the shelf, that'll be when I'll go outside. But until that point, while it's just gently rocking side to side, not even a centimetre, I'm not going nowhere. I'll sit here with my drink.
And that lady is an Englishman abroad with his drink.
And I was right. Yeah, it was fruit juice. I will admit it was fruit juice. But it literally only lasted seconds. Yeah. It was a very small aftershock, and it wasn't enough to bother me. So I just carried on sitting there with my fruit juice.
I'm not sure.
Sorry?
Are you on about your earthquake or your sex life? I'm not sure. You said it only lasted a few seconds and it was a tiny aftershock. So.
Both. But yeah, it literally lasted a few seconds, and then everybody else started coming back in, and all looking at me as if to say, God, you're brave. You know?
It's like over here. It's how fucking hot it's been over here. We had the thunderstorms and everything, and I've got a fan up here, and I went out and bought one for the front room and everything like that. And now, yesterday and today, cloudy, rain, and it's like still boiling. I don't know what's the temperature on now. Where's the temperature on this? 23 at the moment. That can't be right. 23 sounds a bit warm, but it's still bloody hot here. But it's been raining and everything, so
we've been averaging between 32 and 35 in my kitchen. It's been really, really hot inside and outside. It's been 27 degrees outside. Last week was the only time we had a thunderstorm, and me and Ellen and Freddie sat on the doorstep. We opened the door and just sat on the doorstep watching it, and videoed it. Yesterday, Lincolnshire had rain because I was watching the Lincoln's version of the Red Bull Soapbox Derby.
We watched some of those, yeah.
I was watching that live yesterday, and I'm like, oh, it's raining. Everybody's got their brollies up. And then the person that was actually doing the live said, it's started to rain. It's coming in sideways. I'm like, well, send it down here. We need it.
Yeah, it's been bad here, but like I say, it's still bloody hot, and it's like I turned around today and I looked out the weather. And I went, what the fuck was that? Our week of summer? Then is that it? It's over and done with, you know. But I haven't been at work because I've been on holiday for a week. I don't go back till Thursday, so I'm on my antidepressants make me what was it by the way, you'd be pleased to hear I'm gradually coming off them. I'm being weaned off them. I said I'm in a really good place up here now. Can I come off them now? And they're going to wean me off them. However, all the years I've been on the things, they have made me I get really over hot with things. Sensitive to heat, that's it. I get really hot right away, and I sweat like over nothing.
My mate's like that.
Yeah.
He comes down to visit his mum and dad over the road, and he gets out the car and he walked over the road, and as soon as he knocked on my door, it's like,
that's what I'm like. I'll be at work and they've got the air conditioning on in work, and I'll go on one of my patrols and I'll come back and I'll stand there. I'll take my baseball cap off because I've got security one. Take it off and the sweat just goes pick off, and then literally look like I've been chasing fucking kids around or some shit like that. You know, and it's not. I've just had a walk. That's it. So I'll be glad when those side effects go away.
It's just when people turn around and go, "Oh, you're better off drinking hot drinks when it's hot weather." Sod off! I don't want to be hotter than I already am.
I've just finished my cup of tea. We drink tea in it. We drink tea in it.
Got me coffee.
Having said that, I've got Copperberg mixed fruit punch in the fridge. Gets very more.
I mean, I prefer to drink cold drinks when it's hot like this. I prefer to drink the cold drinks.
Yeah.
And I tend to drink more cold drinks than I do hot drinks when it's this hot. But they keep saying, "Oh, you should have tea and coffee. Make sure you have hot drinks." I'm like, no. Because I want to be nice and cool, not nice and hot. You know, when I first read that, I thought that said you'll get swamp gas.
Swamp ass? Why? Who's going to get swamp ass here and why? Just for everybody who's asking, it's 34 degrees in Japan, day and night. And then Irene just said, you'll get swamp ass here. Why are we going to get swamp ass? Me or Wayne or both? Do you know what? This is confusing me. I'm going to put you over there, me here. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. I can do that now. It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah, he's over there.
That's because you swapped me over. If I'd have been on the other side and did that, I'd have been all right.
Well, where am I?
Because that's normally, this side is normal side for me. Because see, when I do that, or do that, you see?
And it's not easy.
So it's because you confuse me. I can't do it because I'm on the wrong side. You see, I can do it when I'm on this side.
So swamp ass. Why on earth are we gonna? Why would we get swamp ass?
Sitting in a swamp.
Katsu curry. No, that didn't mean you, Bob. I'm not going to put you in a curry. To be honest, I love katsu curry. Really nice.
Never had it.
Why would we have swamp? Why would we have swamp? Come on, explain yourself. Why would we have swamp ass? I mean, Wayne, yeah. To be fair, you haven't heard me in the morning. The first thing I do when I wake up every fucking morning is I'll roll over and blow the cat off the bed. Every morning. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, those bloody tablets I'm on, I sweat like mad. And it's made me really sensitive to heat. So it's a slight bit of heat. And I just go red hot. And I get like, I'll crash and burn. You know, if I get overheated, I start getting really angry, and then I get panic attacks and shit like that, and I stop. So I'll be glad when all that's finished. But what was I going to say? So many different theories about what's coming. Some are saying, it's just going to be these power cuts. Some are saying, Trump's trying to start a war because there's stuff over there he wants. Not just wiping out the nuclear stuff, but stuff over there that he actually wants, and he's going to. Yeah,
because they've recently found a load of lithium and something else over there as well, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. I understand not letting countries that pretty much run on terrorism. I understand not letting them have nuclear. I get that. Completely get that.
I think if a lot of terrorist organisations in the Middle East are funded by Iran, and Iran are having a uranium enrichment facility, that makes the terrorist organisations a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, I get
straight
that.
away.
Yeah.
So I could understand the urgency to stop them from having it. And I did see something the other day about the Crown Prince of Iran, who was exiled because the Ayatollahs took over, demanding that the people rise up against the Ayatollahs.
Well, again, an Ayatollah is somebody who's a head of religion and starts going around saying, you will do this, you will do that, you will do
Which is what they do in Iran.
Shitter than ours. Their big invisible sky being is better. Our big invisible sky being is better than their one. Religion once again. Oh, sweaty bums, swamp asses, sweaty asses. Yeah. Trust me, we've already got that over here. You always know when you got a sweaty bum when you're wearing a pair of shorts, sit on a plastic chair, stand up, and there's an imprint of everything left on the chair, and you go,
And everybody else knows when you've got a sweaty bum, because the second you break wind, it goes. End up clapping.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think, again, another thing I've been looking into, and I've been looking down the rabbit holes, and I've asked about 4 or 5 different types of AI, and the one that I found has been the most succinct in questioning and realistic in its answers has been ChatGPT, that one anyway, and they reckon that all the little cracks are starting to come in with all the bobblements going, no, yes, aliens, no aliens, yes, no aliens, we no. And now all the whistleblowers have come out, credible ones, and said, actually, what about this? What about that? What about this? They're starting to be questioned now on all the little cracks that have started to open up, where they've gone, hang on a minute, you said that hadn't happened, but it did, look. And now that's starting to happen. And they, again, it's coming. It is coming. And again, it's pointed to 2027, which we've said, but it's 25 or 27, wasn't it? And we've been saying that for the last 3 years, 4 years. So it's coming, but what is it?
And also the Bujosphere has been going on tour.
That's right. And another one was seen, wasn't there? There's like 3 of them. There's the one that people have got now, and there's a couple of others. Hang on a second.
There was one. I think there was one scene filmed in China. I saw last week. One was filmed in China, and it was a remote area. It wasn't in a built-up city or anything. It was in quite a remote area, and someone was fishing.
That's right.
And he managed to film it going down the river.
Yeah.
In the sky.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So, and that was only last week. But this one is the one that crashed in South America.
Yeah.
They've actually gone on tour with it.
What do you think they are?
Probes.
But from here or elsewhere? Just going down the nose. Excuse me.
No, I don't think they are. I think they're from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or if they are from here, they're not from surface dwellers.
I get you.
Or they're a superior race. Wherever they're coming from, they're far superior than we are.
Are they wrecking, do you think?
I think so. I think they're just looking at the lay of the land, see what's about, who's who, who's doing what.
Well, my thing is, I don't understand why they would need to reconnoiter when they've been here for countless centuries. But with the shit that's going on now, do you reckon they're just making sure everything's okay to come in?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have TV and radio broadcasts, so they don't really have to come down here to see what's going on, because they'll be able to pick up radio and TV signals. So they wouldn't have to worry about that. But then all they're going to get from radio and TV is what we're being shown.
Well, all the yourself, never. If you want to know what's really going on, don't listen to mainstream media. Don't
exactly, and that's why they could be bringing probes down to Earth to actually go around and just look for themselves firsthand what goes on in society. Like this one in China, it was going around a countryside area, and it's probably looking about and going, well, people they're not fighting each other out here. There's a man over there fishing. There's a man over there farming his paddy fields. There's kids playing over there. They're not fighting each other. They're not shouting and slagging each other off. So it could be that they're looking at not just the big cities, but looking at the countryside areas, the rural areas where people are sort of getting on with things the way we should be.
Yeah.
And sizing everything up to see whether we're a threat or not. And they're going to come to the conclusion that the only threat that there is, I can't read that.
Watching what's going on behind the scenes, spot on.
Yeah, just looking and seeing what's going on, see where their next plan of action could be, where they could help, and so on and so forth. Because if the rumours are true that they're going to come here to help us, they're going to need to know where to help. And if they're going to look at anything as to where to help the people of the earth, it's going to be looking at the people who are under the thumb. And that's the average person like you and I and all the farmers and that are being sort of pushed down roads they don't want to go down but feel powerless to do anything about it.
AI technology, I think, is used to mask over alien tech too.
Possible. We are, Irene.
Yeah, some of the videos that have come out, we are stupid morons. Yeah, we are. I think some of the AI videos that comes out showing stuff. Like, have you seen the AI videos of Bigfoot and his mate Yeti? They crack me up, those things. They do. They crack me up, those videos. But who's to know if that's not what really goes on? No one knows. No one knows. You know, I don't think it is, but it'd be awesome if it was. But I do think that I think a lot of the stuff that we've seen in the movies, I don't mean the negative side of aliens trying to war with us or stuff like that, but I mean the technology. I think a lot of that is in use now and has been in use for a while and is only used by the upper echelons of the black military. And by black military, I mean the secret military. I don't mean everybody wears black. Or anything else. Okay. So yeah, preempting the Hellraiser's next moves. I think when you've got all that crap that's going on in mainstream media, they probably look at the mainstream media and go, right, okay, let's send a probe down there, see if that's going on. And then it comes on down there, sends them back their stuff, and they're like, well, that's not happening, is it? All right, what's going on there over there? Is the real reason that they did that because of this? Go and have a look where. Comes back. It wasn't why they did it. Why the fuck did they do that then? Send another one. I reckon there's loads. You know.
I mean, we had the one in Manchester, didn't we? I mean, that, to me, at the moment, that's the only one of the three that I have seen that has been seen in a built-up area. The other two have all been in countryside areas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they're all over the place. I mean, I've heard rumours that there's to be 2 seen in London, but I've not seen any evidence to go with it.
No.
But to be absolutely honest, if you've got a probe in Manchester, it's fucking brave, innit? It hasn't been bricked up and its wheels nicked, you know. But you know, hey,
it landed in the middle of the airfield, didn't it?
Oh yeah, that one,
Manchester Airport.
Yeah, a while back. Yeah,
but that was a slightly different colour to the other two.
I think there's quite a few everywhere, personally. You know, there's, like I say, if you don't, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, we've said this so many times before, if you want to know what the real news is and what's really going on out there, don't listen to mainstream. Don't use mainstream media. Don't use any mainstream news outlets or anything like that, because that is controlled by governments and they tell you what they want you to know. If you go and use browsers like DuckDuckGo or the Tor project, something like that, use those browsers. Go and do a bit of research yourself. You'll find out what's going on. You'll find out what's really going on. And that's also how you need to do your research into any of the subjects that we talk about. Easiest way. And also anybody else who's watching this who does their stuff will be like, yeah, don't use it. We have a lot of any technology here and everyone thinks it's normal in Japan. Cancer patients are not dying anymore here.
The thing is there have been, and we know this because it's all part of one of the biggest conspiracy theories, is that big pharmaceutical companies would lose too much money if things like a cancer treatment that was readily available and would cure it
Yeah.
Big pharmaceutical companies would go out of business, and that's why they've put a cap on it, so that you can't get the treatment readily available.
Exactly. Becky, again.
Oh dear.
Every week.
It's that time. Hello.
You always forget, don't you? Love you. Bye.
But yeah, I mean, they reckon there are so many, the illnesses that are out there are cures for them. And I found out the other day about hay fever. People look at getting antihistamines from the shops and buying all these hay fever remedies. Who is making money from that? Pharmaceuticals, the shops. Do you know the easiest and the quickest way of stopping hay fever?
Go on.
And it's free. Stinging nettles.
I've heard of that.
Stinging nettles have a natural antihistamine. All you've got to do is sting yourself a couple of times for about 2 weeks, and you will stop getting hay fever. I went out for a walk the other Sunday. I got stung something chronic. I haven't sniffled, haven't had watery eyes, nothing.
See, to be fair, I used to take like the top brand stuff and this and the other, and it took me ages to sort my hay fever out. Now, I'll like go down Poundland and I'll buy a fucking 79p thing of antihistamines. Yeah. I have one in the morning, bit of nose spray once a day, and one at night if my hay fever gets bad at night. That's all I need to do, and I'm fine.
But you can even save yourself that 79p by getting yourself stung once a day for 2 weeks.
I get stung all the time, especially in the garden.
But that's supposed to stop hay fever. And I wondered why I never suffered from it, and that's the reason why, because I'm always stinging myself.
Well, it's also supposed to be if you take honey that's been produced in your area, if you get honey and like use it in your tea to sweeten your tea or have it on toast or whatever, but it has to be done in your local area, honey from your local area, that builds up the immunities that you need to stop your hay fever.
Yep.
For the hay fever in that area. So.
And it's got to be pure natural honey, not processed.
Right. Yeah, it can't be processed. It's got to be natural honey from the local area. I watched what I initially thought was a balloon bobbing back and forward behind a wall at the side of my house. It definitely wasn't a balloon. I'll message you and tell you about it and why I think it was intelligent. It's too long to write here. Okay. Did you get any pictures?
Did you get a picture of it?
Because that's what I want you guys to do from now on. All of you who are watching out there, because we've got people in there, we've got people in YouTube land and Instagram and everywhere else this thing goes out. Take photos, please, because take photos of what you see and send them to us just with a little tiny bit, time, day, where in the world it is and what you think it is, and just send them to us. And we'll start putting them on the wall and talking about them.
That's just reminded me of something.
Spit it out, man.
Saturday night, I was investigating at Dunwich in Suffolk. And while we were sitting in the car park, something happened that we witnessed when we were at Church Farm in Skegness.
It wasn't a dogger, was it?
No.
Okay.
There was probably a lot of that going on because there was a lot of people in the car park. But we were standing in a car park. It must have been about 11 o'clock at night, I think it was. And we're standing there chatting, having a break before we went off to St. James's Church to carry on investigating. And we saw this white object coming towards us in the sky. And we watched it. And then all of a sudden it flashed and disappeared. No tail on it. Nothing. It was just this little white ball of light, like we saw at Church Farm in Skegness.
Yeah.
It literally almost right over the top of us. It flashed and then just vanished. It didn't carry on going like the one we saw. It just stopped, flashed, and went, disappeared. We all thought it was the International Space Station to start off with, but no, because with the ISS, when that flies over, when it goes behind Earth's shadow, it gradually goes out. It doesn't just extinguish. It don't just suddenly disappear. It slowly gets darker and darker until you can't see it.
Yeah.
This, it just flashed, bright flash, and then just gone.
Did you get any photos? Noreen, whereabouts are you in the UK? Because I always used to think you were like over in America somewhere, but there's just one word you've used in that sentence there, and I know straight away you're in the UK. But so whereabouts are you? Because if you were an American, you'd said that, it would be like, what? So he's seen it. Isn't it? If an American had said that, you'd have been, what the hell were you doing?
Smoke.
For anybody who's reading that message, unfortunately, I didn't take any photos as I was having a sneaky fag out of the bedroom window. Now, fag is UK slang for cigarette, but if an American said, "I was having a fag out the window," be like, "Oh, well, that's very honest of you." The Wirral.
All right. Okay.
I know the Wirral. Yeah, I was brought up in Selmore and Timperley and Altrincham. Can you hear the dog out there?
It just sounds like Rachel's opening and closing in the bedroom door.
No, that's Badger doing the yip. Yeah, I know the Wirral. I know the Wirral quite well. Well, yeah. So for any of you Americans who are going, what the hell? She had a fag out of the window. Fag is cigarette. It's a cigarette. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything else was going on. It's International Women's Day. You will be pegged. Sorry,
I've thrown them out.
Out you go.
You're going out the window.
So, yeah, back to all this that's been going on with all the stuff that I look at and Wayne looks at and stuff I've been seeing on the internet of things. My honest opinion, the Bobbermans are covering something up. They are hiding something. They're not telling the truth, and they're giving misinformation about fucking everything. But that's Bobbermans. They never ever tell the truth. They'll say, look at this, we're doing this because of this, when in actual fact they're not. They're doing it because of whatever's just going on over there. You can't quite see this hand doing, you know. So never, just don't trust them, don't believe them. Mainstream media, you want to know the real news and stuff, don't watch mainstream media. Get the Tor project browser or DuckDuckGo, stuff like that.
Look between the lines.
Yeah, definitely read between the lines. Because any news that comes out at the moment in the mainstream news outlets is stuff they want you to hear and they want you to know and they want you to think is actually going on, when it's probably something else completely different. Like all this with the LA, was it LA? The aliens in the shopping mall?
No. Well, it was Miami, wasn't it? The aliens in the shopping mall.
Oh yeah. Do you reckon that was real?
No, because nothing's come of it.
I don't, because the videos that I've seen of inside the mall with these, you know, the so-called bloody aliens inside, you could see it was either statues or a dummy head. So, you know, I really don't. I don't think it was what they said. I think it was a lot of.
No, and I think if it was authentic, it was real, we would have heard a lot more about it. It would have made international news, not just social media. It would have made international news, and it would have gone on for months. It wouldn't have been hushed up as quick as it was, even if the powers that be had decided to shut it down as quick as possible. It still would have been about for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just too many witnesses. You know, technically, when we've seen the videos, there was hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
And the government would have had such a hard task ahead of them to try and silence everybody that was there. No chance. There is no way that would have happened. It would have taken way too long.
In the nearby cave, 700 samurai warriors unalive themselves. So why did 700 samurais commit seppuku? Was it because somebody's cooking was just that fucking bad? Why? You're not doing katsu curry! No! It's shit! Oh, you'll bring dishonor on my family. Don't take that personally, Irene. I just wonder why 700 samurai killed themselves. Mainstream media is just a script for the Bobbermans. Yeah, it is. The governments tell them what they can and cannot put out there. Any major incidents that happen in the UK or any country that's to do with all the stuff that we talk about, they will look at it and go, Somebody get a spin doctor to do a story for this, and they do. What do you think about the sphere in South America? We were just talking about all that, Lynn.
We just talked about that, Lynn.
Yeah. We all think that they're reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more of them than what we've seen.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot more. And again, if you go on DuckDuckGo or the Tor project, use those browsers to go and do your diving into this stuff, and you'll find a lot of things out there all to do with this. So don't use mainstream media for it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. But they are currently on tour with the one that landed in Colombia.
And again, South America and Italy were the first Bobberments to turn around and be open about everything that's been going on. And I don't want to say South America, I mean all the Bobberments in South America. They were the ones that came out and all said, well, yeah, that we've been in contact with them for ages. Look, this is what it can do. We made the mistake of thinking they were being hostile, and we went after them with a helicopter. Look what it did to our helicopter. It fucked it, and they showed all the evidence and everything. And then once they understood that they wanted to help us, they were like, oh, okay. And they've made friends with them. It's only Northern Europe and North America that's like...
Yeah, and in South America, it has been the Brazilians, the Peruvians, and Colombians that have been probably the most open about what's been going on.
Yeah. And have you noticed the... sorry, guys, only just got home, so missed half of it. That's all right, Lynn. Have you noticed how half the... do you remember all the stories about the skin peelers, those aliens? That was about fucking hoverboards that could speak perfect South American Spanish, with localized and regionalized accents. Well, all that suddenly vanished.
Yeah, well, they had the translator fish in their ear, didn't they, from Hitchhiker's Guide?
Yeah, the big babel fish. Yeah. Amazing how that's all suddenly stopped as well. Oh, and all the big drone sightings, the massive ones that were seen all over the place that everybody saw. And then the American government turned around and said, oh, yeah, they were ours. What, even the ones in Rio de Janeiro? Yeah, they were ours. The ones in Poland? Yeah, they were ours. Just an experiment we were doing. They're all ours. All of them. Every single one of them. All ours.
It reminds me of the picture I saw earlier on today. It was so funny. It was of a B-2 bomber that had crashed. And it looked like it crashed in the desert. And they were saying, oh, the Iranians have managed to get one of the bombers. And then when you look at the picture, you're like, seriously? The B-2 bomber is not that big. What they'd done was they'd superimposed a picture of a B-2 bomber, made it look like it had crashed, but put it right next to a village. And this camper van was near enough right in front of it. And the people were like 5 times the size of the camper van, but a lot smaller than the actual bomber in comparison. The houses were like microscopic.
It blanked you out and went beep, 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 beep. It was like you're being bleeped out there. You said the camper van was, and it went, there.
Camper van.
Camper van. The camper van.
The camper van was.
The camper van was. What the hell was it? Did you guys hear that?
And it just proved the point.
Yeah.
It just.
We're not being. They're not fucking around with our broadcasting, are they?
Are you listening in on us? Are you? Be honest now. Are you listening in?
We've said something. Hang on.
B-2 bomber?
We've said something. Yeah. All right. Why has this just turned itself off as well? Let's try this. Hang on, just 1 minute. Right. Okay. You hear me all right? Can you hear it?
Yeah, you're doing it now. Can you hear me?
I think we've said something overly sensitive.
I don't
Something
know.
is coming in the Bobberments direct.
Can somebody put something in the comments, please?
Great show, guys. Got to go now. Have to be up for 5 a.m. Yes, heard it. Then Wayne started echoing.
Okay.
I think, yeah. Well, it's past now anyway, so it's time for us to finish. But yeah, mainstream media, don't believe it. Use the other browsers.
It's got to be a warning battery, like a battery warning or something.
Everything's plugged in. Yeah, everything's plugged in. There's got to be another explanation. Can't be whatever the fuck. But bizarre.
What on earth was that? Something just went.
No idea. No idea.
Strange.
Yeah, no idea.
Okay, that's only the second time something
now
strange like that.
Why are you not there?
Hey?
What the?
What?
Okay, right at the end of the show, everything's gone. What? I can't hear a word you're saying, mate. It's gone tits up.
Can't you hear me?
My speaker is on, the lights on, everything else is on. Just let me have a look. Let me have a look on my settings a minute, because I can't fucking hear you.
You can't hear me at all.
Yeah. Turn that off. Right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What the fuck? Hang on.
I reckon I've been muted.
Right.
Have I been muted? What was it?
It muted you. It muted you. Yeah, it muted you. So you guys may have been able to hear Wayne. I couldn't. And it started every time he was talking about the camper van. Every time he said something about the camper van, it muted him.
Strange. But anyway, it proved the photo was fake.
Yeah.
Because everything was out of size. The plane, the van, and the people, they were all completely different in size in comparison with each other.
Yeah.
And then someone actually spotted it, that it was actually posted 5 days before America sent the bombers over.
There's so much propaganda and bollocks that's out there. And there's so, like I say, the governments lead the mainstream media in their rhetoric and what they can say and what they can't say. So again, as I always say at the end of the show, keep your eyes to the skies. Use these to see what's going on. Just use these. And if you see anything strange, for God's sake, take a photo and send it to us. Just with a little thing saying what time and where. And, you can add anything else to it,
Yeah. The time and the where is the most important thing.
Yeah. Because then we check it off against flight maps and things like that, see if there's anything in the area it could have possibly been. Because we try and rule everything out first. Because we're not like certain other ones that go, oh, aliens straight away, because we always try and rule everything out, because 99.9% of all sightings are missed sightings. They're not what people think they are. So you always have to rule out everything first. And was it Sherlock Holmes said, dismiss everything, and whatever's left, no matter how improbable or impossible, that must be the truth. So, sort of words to that effect. But yeah. So yeah, on that note, it's good night from him.
And it's good night from him.
And we will see you next week, Monday, 9:30. Remember, keep your eyes to the skies, guys, and let us know what you think is going on. All this nonsense about having wind-up torches and wind-up fucking radios and stuff like that, and something is coming and blah, 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 blah. Keep your eyes to the skies. Let us know. On that note, we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye, everybody. And thank you for joining us.